BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Okay, Cherry. I hear you. We'd all like some quick and simple ways to improve our health, but we're bombarded with often conflicting advice. So, if you were going to do just one thing to improve your mental and physical well-being, what should it be? Maybe a few squats to enhance your brain, or more bacteria to improve your mood, or even a cold shower to boost your immune system. I'm Dr. Michael Mosley, and this is Just One Thing, where each episode we'll explore one thing you can start doing tomorrow to improve your health or life in ways you might not expect. So here's something you really can do that could be the secret to better sleep, boost your mood, and even cut your risk of heart disease and diabetes. As you can probably tell, I'm out on a walk. It's an early morning walk, to be specific, and there are loads of benefits to be had from going for a walk at any time of day or night, but getting out and about first thing in the morning really does have some added benefits. It's also a good idea to make your walk as brisk as possible, and you can probably hear that in my voice at the moment. Because when you do that, it increases the impact of walking by up to 50%, and I'll be going to that a bit more a little later on. Now, the benefits of walking aren't just about movement, but also about light, and how natural light is so important, and there are lots of reasons for this. Now, the reason I like going for walks, particularly early morning walks here in the winter, is because I find it really improves my seasonal affective disorder, otherwise known as SAD. It's a kind of type of low mood that affects people in the winter months, and it's very much linked to being cooped indoors and not getting enough light. So that's why I like to stride out. So it's something I've tried to fit into my daily routines as much as I can. But could you make the time? And how quickly would you feel the benefits? Let's find out.
I'm Becky, I'm 47, I'm a stay-at-home mum from South London. I like to go for walks every day if I can, or a couple of times a week with my sister or a friend, just to keep me sane and get a bit of exercise and fresh air and a chat. I consider myself a happy person and I sleep quite well, but I've heard that walking early in the morning is good for sleeping and well-being. So I'm going to give it a try. Instead of going in the afternoon, I'm going to go for a nice early morning walk.
So we're going to ask Becky to walk every morning for 30 minutes within 2 hours of waking up. Let's get in some of the science behind why the time we walk is so important. Why can't you just do it at lunchtime, in the afternoon, or perhaps after work? Well, any form of walking outside during the day is good because it exposes you to daylight. But going in the morning seems to alert our body and brain that the day has started. Light also helps to reset our internal body clock, which tells our body when to go to sleep and when to wake up. Exposure to light also suppresses the production of melatonin, which is known as the hormone that encourages us to go to sleep. Now, a bright light first thing in the morning will reduce your melatonin production straight off and start to make you feel really wide awake. And it's not only that light suppresses the melatonin, but it also brings your body clock forward so that in the evening when you want to go to sleep, your body is ready for it. In short, if you're struggling to sleep at night, it could be because you're not getting enough bright light, particularly in the morning. The earlier you have exposure to daylight, the better the impact on the quantity and quality of sleep. It's also thought early exposure to light can actually reduce the amount of time you wake up during the night, so you get a deeper and better sleep. And using this simple trick, you can actually train yourself to become a morning person in just a matter of weeks. But what if you're really not an early riser? Well, don't worry. You don't have to get up earlier. Just go out for a walk within 2 hours of when you would normally get up. And this can also work if you're a shift worker or if you have odd working hours. If you're awake when the sun is rising, although it might not feel like there's much light, there is a higher proportion of blue light or short wavelength light, which is one of the things that our receptors are particularly sensitive to and can have a positive effect. One of the odd things about your internal clock is it doesn't run at 24 hours. It normally runs just a little bit longer than that. So one of the purposes of bright sunlight is it resets the clock every morning, and for some reason that seems to be particularly beneficial. In the winter months, the days are shorter and we get less daylight, which really can throw our rhythms out of sync and in some people lead to low mood and even depression. If we don't effectively reset our clocks in the morning because we've not had enough light, our body clock will be off kilter. We can feel very tired and groggy. And it's not just about the impact that light has on your melatonin levels. When you're exposed to daylight, it also triggers the release of a different chemical called serotonin, which is one that makes us feel good. It's a natural mood booster. Serotonin is one of the chemicals that antidepressants boost. And it's so powerful it can actually reset your brain chemistry and perhaps even change your outlook. Now it's time to check back in with Becky and see how she's getting on. In fact, I'm going to ask her to push herself a bit harder and increase her pace to a moderate pace so she gets double the benefits from doing just one thing.
Here I am in the park, nice and early. No one around. Just me and the parrots. So now I've been walking in the mornings. It's definitely improved my feeling of well-being and happiness during the day. I think I'm sleeping better at night as well. And I've been asked to step it up, though I'll be rushing along as if I'm late for a meeting.
So I've asked Becky to push herself a little bit harder. Why? Marie Murphy is Professor of Exercise and Health at Ulster University, and she was behind a huge study that found walking faster could help you live longer. So Marie, can you tell me about the study?
Yeah, it was a study where we pulled together surveys from 11 different populations, Scotland and England largely, where people were asked how much they walked and how fast they walked. And we then did some statistical analysis to see what effect did that have on cardiovascular disease mortality and cancer mortality. And we found that for cancer mortality, just doing more walking reduced your risk. But for cardiovascular disease, walking brisker gave you better protection and prevented cardiovascular disease more. So walking a bit quicker was more beneficial.
And how big a difference was it between the amblers and the brisk walkers?
Quite a big difference. You're probably talking in the region of 0.1 or 0.2 extra risk. So 10 to 20% less risky of getting cardiovascular disease if the walking that you do is brisk compared to the same amount of walking done more slowly.
Okay, so brisk walking, how long did they have to walk for to get benefit?
Well, this study was a cross-sectional study where they asked them how much they walked. So we didn't tell them how much they had to walk. This was just asking how much had they walked in the previous years. But the current guidelines suggest that people should be physically active for 30 minutes a day. So if I was giving a how much answer, then I'd say you should try to get about 30 minutes a day of brisk walking every day if you can.
You can also break it down, can't you? I mean, I have a tendency to go for a sort of 15, 20-minute walk in the mornings, and then I like to have an afternoon or maybe an evening walk as well, if I can fit it in.
To me, that's perfect because walking is really suited to that. Unlike other types of exercise where you wouldn't really run 3 times a day, walking fits that model of breaking it up. The benefits are exactly the same. And in fact, we actually think the benefits might be a little bit greater because you're getting 3 boosts to your metabolism. You're sitting 3 times during the day and you're just getting the circulation going and switching your brain on a couple of times. So my preference is, if you can get 2 or 3 breaks in your day, especially now that we're all working at home, that's probably the optimal way to do it.
Okay, and what do you mean by brisk?
Okay, so for me, brisk is that you can feel your heart beating, you feel yourself warming up, and you're breathing faster than usual, but you're still comfortable enough to carry on a conversation. And we sometimes say you can talk, but you can't sing. So it's in that sort of intensity where you're breathing heavier, but you still have a bit of capacity to have a conversation. Now,
I sort of aim for somewhere between 100 and 130 paces when I'm walking. And to keep myself motivated, particularly when I'm walking by myself, I listen to music with a beat like that. For example, the Bee Gees song Staying Alive has a beat of around 103, I think, so that keeps me paced up. Do you use that sort of thing?
Yeah, we've used that in a couple of studies where we've tried to find out what would make brisk for an individual, give them a certain number of beats per minute, and then get them to walk at that pace. I think you could probably go a bit faster than that, Michael. 103 might be a bit slow for you. I'd probably step it up to maybe Black Eyed Peas.
Which one?
I would probably say to you to go for I've Got a Feeling with Black Eyed Peas. That's a nice brisk one.
Okay, I've got a feeling. I'll have a go at that one. Do you think there's any evidence that it's better to walk before or after breakfast?
No, again, I mean, the evidence is mixed. So if you walk fasted, then you probably have better effects on glycemic control. There's a little bit of evidence to suggest it might be better for weight loss. But for me, you've already come off of a night of fasting, before breakfast. And it's probably better to at least put something into your system to get you going.
I actually did a film a while ago up in Glasgow where I ate a full English breakfast and then either I went for a walk afterwards or I didn't. And on the day when I didn't, you could absolutely see the fat in my blood. Whereas when I'd been for a brisk walk, it sort of turned on the muscles, if you like, and they really started to draw the fat and the sugar out of my blood.
Yeah.
So just simply on that basis, it seemed like quite a good idea to have a brisk walk after breakfast.
Yeah, that's my friend Jason Gill's work, and it's a super little study. And I think that the strongest message that comes out of that is any walking, whenever you do it, is good.
So one of the things that people are obviously obsessed by these days is getting in their 10,000 steps. Do you think that is a useful metric to aim at?
Absolutely. I mean, I think counting your steps and the Fitbits and the various devices that we all seem to have to monitor them gives you a good indication. And what I like about it is if you get to the end of your day and you're not near your target, it at least gives you the motivation to say, I'm going to go and get some. But we mustn't miss the message that not all steps are equal. So slow steps are not as good for you as brisk steps.
So now we know why we've asked Becky to walk faster. Let's find out how her week has been.
So I've just got to the park. It's early, it's quiet. Walking fast for now. Let's see if I can keep the momentum up for 20 minutes or so. Not sure about half an hour. It feels really good though to be out at this time walking. So many runners out at this time. I think that's a step too far for me though at the moment. I'm actually really enjoying the walking. I'm feeling more alert during the day and can't tell if it's a walk or not, but I'm sleeping so well at night, I'm definitely going to keep it up.
Well, I'm glad that Becky is going to keep up the walking because we found there are so many benefits. I just love going out for a walk in the morning. It's the light, and even on overcast days, there's something to appreciate about walking across the fields, and it just makes me feel alive. Going for an early morning walk is just one thing you can do, but there is far more than one reason why you should be doing it. This particular one thing comes with a whole host of benefits to improve your life. As we've seen, exposure to early morning light can help with our sleep. It could even make you a morning person if you weren't already one, assuming you want to be one. Plus, it's a natural mood booster. And the movement part, well, we all know that movement is good for you, but if you make it brisk, it could actually help you live longer. So, time to pick up the pace a bit, I think. Whew. So that's it. Just one thing you can incorporate into your daily routine which really could benefit your body and life. Join me next time on Just One Thing, where I'll be finding out why scoffing down live bacteria could not only help your metabolic health, but your mental health as well.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Casile, and there is nothing I love more than a great documentary.
I'm woken by the sound of gunfire.
There's something about a true story, told well, that changes your perspective on the world.
He trusted the wrong people, and it's obviously cost him his life.
Radio 4 is home to the world's greatest audio documentaries.
A film showing bright pink bottoms sitting on victorious sponge cakes is projected onto a screen over the stage.
And you can find the best of them all in one place, twice a week.
Although we can see and hear these animals, they are literally living their lives at a different speed to us.
The podcast is called Seriously. Subscribe now on the BBC Sounds app.